So we've known for some time that things aren't great between Meghan Markle and her own mother, Doria Ragland. She has been completely miserable in the last couple of public appearances that the fake Duchess forced on her.
Two, what does it say about the relationship between them now? Because I would argue it's probably not good. There's been so much that has happened between then and now.
Knowles, where it became clear just how tense relations are between mother and daughter when Meghan unwittingly revealed to the world.
Doria Ragland's shocking confession flips the whole Meghan story upside down. Have you ever really studied Meghan Markle's wedding photos, not just scrolled past them, but truly looked?
Where it became clear just how tense relations are between mother and daughter when Meghan
There's one image that slaps you in the face immediately. Inside Windsor Castle, with 600 guests packed in like royalty on display, there sat Doria, completely alone. No family beside her, no one sharing that moment. And here's the kicker. It wasn't some accident, it was intentional. That single seat screamed louder than any headline ever could.
It could never achieve on her own by dating a very rich and wealthy and influential man. She married said influential man, joined the British royal family, the most well-known royal family on earth.
Across the aisle, you had the entire royal clan lined up in perfect formation. Scattered around the hall were Hollywood elites, hand-picked stars soaking up the spectacle. And then there was Doria, one mother, sitting quietly, holding down the weight of an entire family legacy for her daughter. She wasn't just present, she was the only representative Meghan allowed into that historic room.
Had decided to attend the Beyoncé concert without her and without even telling her. Now, I knew things.
That's not just emotional, it's chilling. It told a deeper story in one silent shot. But the other half of that story? Thomas Markle. The man everyone expected to walk Meghan down the aisle, and instead the man who delivered one of the ugliest pre-wedding scandals the royal family had ever seen. Just 5 days before the vows, the world caught him slipping.
In Palace, she had one child and then decided to jump ship and scurry away to Canada under the auspices of, oh, we need a break from the media, only to turn around and go, oh yeah.
Paparazzi photos splashed everywhere. Thomas flipping through wedding newspapers, trying on his tux, strutting around the neighborhood like he was rehearsing for a Hollywood blockbuster. The father-daughter moment turned into a worldwide humiliation, and it changed the whole royal fairy tale forever. Here's the twist. Those so-called candid paparazzi shots of Thomas Markle, they weren't candid at all. Reports say they were staged with a jaw-dropping $100,000 deal and a carefully orchestrated media setup.
Now it has emerged that the strain is so bad that Doria Ragland has said enough is enough. I'm moving out of Montecito for good.
Can you even imagine? The palace had every second of the wedding mapped out to perfection. And then, boom, this bombshell dropped like a scandal grenade. The British press went wild. Tabloids splashed it everywhere. Anchors debated his motives.
Leaving the whole British monarchy, moving back from Canada to California, having another child, buying a $13 million home, getting deals with Netflix and Spotify, losing the Spotify deal, gaining a deal with Lemonade.
And suddenly, the most magical royal wedding of the decade turned into front-page chaos. His actions didn't just spark gossip, they threw the entire event's schedule into pure disarray. Seating charts, walking orders, the timing of the ceremony, everything had to be reshuffled in panic. And who swooped in to salvage the moment? None other than Prince Charles, calm as ice. At the very last minute, he took Meghan's arm and turned it into a royal rescue mission.
And it's pretty brutal, actually, because Radar Online have reported that Meghan Markle has now been abandoned by her mom after the Duchess begged don't.
But the storm didn't end there. Meghan's half-siblings saw their chance and jumped straight into the spotlight. Samantha Markle was running her mouth in endless interviews, firing shots at Meghan on every network that would listen. Thomas Jr., he went even further, penning an open letter directly to Prince Harry, blasting his sister and stirring public doubt.
I'll take you through this reporting. It is from Matthew Acton, who is a very experienced UK news reporter who has...
Social media turned into a frenzy. Hashtags, speculation, and endless theories flew at palace staff like knives. By the time the big day finally arrived, Harry and Meghan weren't just walking into a wedding, they were walking into a battlefield. They had tradition pressing on them, cameras watching every twitch, and a full-blown family circus ready to explode at any second. Doria Ragland sat there in silence, watching the storm rage on, holding her daughter's world together without uttering a single word.
Pulling out an ancient shot. I mean, it's truly ancient. Like, either to me, do one of you and your mom when you were really young, or do one from the last couple of years. And not to mention
That's straight up legend energy, and the contrast couldn't have been louder. Because while Doria stayed classy, Meghan's half-siblings, Samantha Markle and Thomas Jr., were out here turning the royal wedding into pure reality TV drama.
Her mother, Doria Ragland, moved out of her and her hen-pecked husband, Prince Harry's Montecito mansion, RadarOnline.com can reveal. The departure came after Diva Duchess Meghan used her.
Samantha, always unfiltered, rolled into full media mode. Wheelchair-bound from multiple sclerosis, she refused to stay quiet. Instead, she launched into interviews, firing statements left and right about how Meghan had changed with fame. She even claimed the royal spotlight had pushed her sister away from the family. It was messy, it was raw, and it played out on live TV like the kind of unscripted show you can't look away from.
Then or now? Although, the interesting question is, ladies and gentlemen, has Meghan Markle had plastic surgery? Because when it comes to...
And then there was Thomas Jr. Oh, he went nuclear. This man didn't just gossip, he penned a full open letter aimed directly at Prince Harry. An actual public letter, warning him that Meghan's family drama was deeper than he realized, and practically begging him to think twice before walking down the aisle. Can you picture Harry reading that bombshell days before his wedding? Yikes, that had to sting. These weren't little side comments either, these were public attacks that forced Buckingham Palace to scramble.
Even her own mother got so sick of her constant moaning and drama she had to flee to luxury home. Insiders say Ragland's departure has left Markle.
What's normally handled behind closed doors was now being ripped open for the world to watch. Royal weddings are supposed to be about flawless precision and picture-perfect image. Instead, Meghan's family feud blew up into global headlines, social media chaos, and wall-to-wall news coverage dissecting every single word. Meanwhile, Doria Ragland sat there like a rock in the middle of a hurricane. Calm, composed, and totally unbothered by the chaos her ex-husband and Meghan's half-siblings had stirred up, she became the emotional anchor of the entire wedding.
Completely and utterly under the radar for the last month or two, because she did the interview with Bloomberg late July, maybe in the very first.
While the drama spun out of control, Doria was the one person steady enough to hold it all together. That's where the emotional complexity of the wedding really hit. The cameras showed Meghan's radiant glow, Harry's royal charm, and all the fairy tale sparkle the world wanted to see. But behind those polished images, the truth was wild. Family tensions exploding, media storms raging, and critics circling like vultures. By the time Meghan took her steps down the aisle, Doria wasn't just another guest tucked away in the pews. She was a living symbol of loyalty, resilience, and unshakable support.
He's struggling to adjust without her. The 68-year-old yoga teacher had moved into the Sussex's sprawling Californian mansion in 2024 to help them through
a woman representing a family ripped apart in public, yet still standing firm in love for her daughter. Now picture it, St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, jam-packed with 600 guests, royals glittering in jewels, celebrities strutting in couture, dignitaries soaking in history. And there was Doria, sitting quietly, completely alone on Meghan's side. While the cameras focused on tiaras and royal waves, her calm, steady presence told the real story.
Everything else she's done is like reposts from her show and everything. She's not showing anything new. And she's been deliberately obscuring her face in various things. And to pull out a really old picture, I can't help but think that is still going.
Think about what she was up against.
She wasn't just attending, she was carrying decades of love, sacrifice, and maternal strength on her shoulders. A quiet force that didn't beg for attention, but absolutely demanded respect. And it's still going. Just think about what Doria was up against. Thomas Markle tangled in a full-blown paparazzi scandal, half-siblings tossing gasoline into the media fire, and every press outlet treating Meghan's family like daily tabloid fodder.
That's the understatement of the year. The tight-knit mother-daughter bond strengthened during this time, with Ragland providing a steady presence in the home she shared with Markle, Harry, and their two children, Archie and Lily.
Yet through all of it, Doria stood tall, graceful, poised, and unshaken. She showed the entire world what true support looks like. This wasn't just about showing up as a mother at her daughter's wedding. It was a calculated act of love and resilience. She didn't compete with the circus, didn't chase the spotlight, and didn't try to silence the noise. Instead, she sat there fully present, quietly holding space for Meghan in the middle of chaos. That takes real strength, and that single moment, iconic.
One insider close to the family told us Doria was a steady support for Harry and Meghan during a tough time. She provided them with much-needed emotional strength, but she has her own life and social code.
Cameras zoomed in on the dress, the tiara, the flowers, Harry's nervous smile. But anyone truly paying attention saw Doria's quiet heroism. She became the beating heart of the ceremony, proving that sometimes the most powerful move is to step back from the noise and let your presence do the talking. Here's where Meghan's priorities lit up for everyone to see. Most weddings are about filling seats, pleasing distant relatives, and staging picture-perfect family moments. But Meghan?
Of her daughter's constant moaning and dramas. Meghan is deeply upset about her mother leaving. She even pleaded, "Don't leave me," as she walked out the door with her suitcases. Harry also regarded Doria as
She chose differently. She chose her mother, Doria Ragland, as her one and only family representative. No extended family circus, no fake displays of unity. Just the woman who had always been her anchor. No awkward seating charts, no forced smiles. Just one woman who had been Meghan's anchor through it all.
Our source added, Doria is happy with how the family is doing now. She's ready to concentrate on her own life.
From the struggles of chasing acting roles, to family betrayals, to relentless public scrutiny, Doria was the constant. It might have looked subtle, but it was a powerful statement. Family isn't about numbers, it's about loyalty and presence. Trust and love don't need a crowd, and Doria embodied both just by sitting there in silence.
Family. She plans to visit often, but won't be living with them full-time again. Our insider said the pair are totally lost, and Meghan must be thinking something is...
She sent a message louder than any toast, speech, or public gesture could ever hope to deliver. The palace understood the weight of her role. Staff were assigned specifically to ensure Doria was cared for at every step, briefing her on the process, walking her through the order of events, making sure she never felt out of place. Seating, timing, positioning, all of it was managed with precision.
In a huge mansion. But the key point is, she got sick of the constant moaning and the drama, so she had to flee. And can you blame her? Can you really blame her?
And it wasn't just about royal logistics, it was respect. Respect for the woman who raised Meghan, who carried her through storms and struggles, and who was now quietly carrying the family mantle in front of the world. The cameras caught the gowns, tiaras, and flowers, but the real image that lingered was Doria, poised and calm, representing Meghan's true values louder than any crown ever could.
Loyal to Meghan. She drank the Kool-Aid for a period. She even was used as propaganda in the Netflix documentary series. But since then,
by putting her mother above appearances and outdated expectations, Meghan made a bold statement. Real family loyalty beats ceremonial perfection every single time. That decision wasn't just symbolic. It set the stage for how her life and her family drama would play out under the harshest spotlight in the world. Fast forward a few years, and Meghan's deep dive into her ancestry grabbed global headlines.
She's seen how her daughter's lies have been exposed. She's seen how her daughter uses people. She's seen how her daughter treats people. And as a calm yogi, she simply doesn't want to...
A DNA test reportedly revealed she was 43% Nigerian, and the internet erupted instantly. Fans celebrated, critics dissected, and so-called experts jumped in with their analysis. Suddenly, a personal discovery turned into a worldwide debate. Social media caught fire. Arguments about race, identity, and public perception spread like wildfire.
Doria had actually enabled a lot of this bad behavior by Meghan, and I would also argue that Doria...
And then Doria Ragland added fuel to the flames. Appearing on The Daily Show, she casually spoke on Meghan's heritage. And just like that, what should have been a private celebration of roots became headline drama. Questions started flying.
Thrill for the mother, because it's lovely to have grandchildren. So at the beginning of these relationships...
Did Meghan read her results correctly? Are DNA databases even reliable? What should have been a personal journey turned into another public spectacle, with strangers analyzing every detail of her family tree.
And the children are growing and all that. But if you start taking advantage of the mother, then things get bad.
But at its core, this wasn't about percentages. It was about identity, belonging, and connection. The tragedy of fame is that even something as intimate as discovering your ancestry gets twisted into a global talking point. Meghan's heritage story wasn't just about bloodlines anymore. It became a high-stakes tale of a woman juggling fame, family, and cultural expectations all at once.
disagreeing. One about, complaining when you've got this absolutely amazing home and so much that you can do, and you just get fed up with it. And she does have friends, but she can't see them because she's very...
Because through it all, the family drama never disappeared. It sat there like a shadow in the background. The half-siblings' constant commentary, Thomas Markle's past fiascos, and Doria's steady, unshakable presence all reminded the world that Meghan's life was never a flawless royal fantasy. It was complex, messy, and watched under a microscope from day one. And then came the ultimate culture clash.
And Harry's, she wouldn't have minded, and she didn't mind, to be very comforting to them. As I said, they both felt that they were...
Meghan's American family, direct, unfiltered, and quick to air their thoughts, crashed straight into the British royal system, which thrives on silence, restraint, and centuries-old traditions. It was oil meeting water, and the sparks were impossible to ignore. Thomas Jr.'s open letters, Samantha's non-stop interviews, and Thomas Sr.'s staged paparazzi photos all collided with the monarchy's obsession with privacy and polished image.
Their mothers, and they could look after them, but after a while that gets boring, and you've got to sort of learn to stand on your own 2 feet. And she just got fed up, because if she...
Suddenly, palace staff weren't just planning a wedding, they were battling a full-blown public scandal exploding in real time. It was huge, and it shook the royal household. Every seating chart, every schedule tweak, every carefully worded statement had to be reconsidered. The palace was forced to balance ceremonial perfection with the unpredictability of an American-style family feud.
That Meghan is actually not looking after her children either, and she just leaves it all to her mother. And when she's going out or when she's going away, she expects her mother to be there, not go off and not do anything. She wanted to do things.
The tension was real, but that very clash shaped the entire narrative of the wedding. Instead of just a fairy tale, it became a cultural battleground for the whole world to see. Meghan wanted to do things her way, and that's where the clash became crystal clear. Royals are trained for silence, to sweep family issues behind closed doors and protect the polished family image at all costs. Meghan's American relatives? They went the opposite route, blasting their opinions straight to the world. That left palace staff scrambling, desperate to keep a lid on the chaos.
It's quite right not to say where she was going to watch a show. Why should she say? She's not an au pair, is she? She's not a nanny. She wants to go.
And this cultural collision didn't just shake up wedding logistics. It reshaped public perception. Viewers at home weren't just watching a royal fairy tale. They were watching raw drama unfold in real time, comparing Meghan's outspoken background with the rigid expectations of a centuries-old monarchy.
Got fed up with Meghan being a sort of a grandiose human being and not accepting that she would like to do her own things.
It was like two worlds crashing together on live television. Through the storm, one person never wavered. Doria Ragland, quiet, strong, and calm. She became the steady heartbeat of the wedding. But it was 2018, and social media ruled the world. One tweet, one Instagram story, one YouTube clip.
Yeah, you'll have to be here. So it must have, over the time, got very, very annoying for her. And actually, I think there is a step of real kindness there when she says she's very pleased how they're living now.
And suddenly, the palace no longer controlled the narrative. Unlike past royal weddings, where official press releases shaped the story, Meghan's family drama spread instantly and uncontrollably. The crown couldn't silence the noise. And that changed everything. Absences, letters, interviews, every messy detail went viral.
Go back. But we all know it's very, very bad for both of them. Meghan, who screamed, "Don't leave me, don't leave me," and Harry, who actually has leaned on.
Palace communications teams were forced into survival mode, reacting in real time, scrambling to update official statements and swat down speculation before it spun out of control. Every hour brought a new headline, and the palace was caught playing defense instead of leading the narrative. The result? This wedding wasn't just a ceremony, it became a crash course in modern chaos management.
Emotionally to him, but she's going, and I don't think that she thinks everything's...
Royal staff weren't only juggling centuries-old protocol and rigid tradition, they were suddenly managing a global audience armed with smartphones, cameras, and endless opinions. Every second risked becoming the next viral moment, and they knew it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it can't be easy. We learn from those reports emanating from the Sussex Survivors Club earlier this week.
Meanwhile, Meghan's American family was busy feeding the frenzy. Every interview, every offhand comment, every open letter turned into instant social media content. Fans dissected it, critics twisted it, and the internet chewed it up nonstop. The traditional royal playbook of carefully timed press releases didn't stand a chance against this tidal wave of digital drama. And through it all, Doria Ragland stayed the picture of calm.
I think Meghan has only really leaned on Doria because Doria fits a certain narrative that Meghan has had to push in order to, let's say, conceal her.
While the palace scrambled and Meghan braved the storm, Doria sat steady, loyal, and unbothered, the emotional anchor her daughter desperately needed in that spotlight. The lesson was brutal but clear. When social media rules the stage, family drama becomes public drama, and no amount of royal planning can fully contain it.
Anyways, which is that she's the victim of racism and she can lean on her mom for that. And I think in the show, if I remember,
after Meghan and Harry's wedding, the palace walked away with some hard, unforgettable lessons. The old approach, accommodate quietly, sweep family issues under the rug, and pray nothing leaks, was finished. Modern family scandals needed strategy, foresight, and brutal realism because the world was no longer waiting for the next press release. It was reacting instantly.
slog to get through. But her mom at some point, I think, was kind of whispering in Meghan's ear, going, racism, racism, racism. If you use that, people will, let's say, back away.
From that moment on, the palace began vetting everything. Family circumstances weren't overlooked anymore. They were scrutinized. Staff started anticipating social media reactions, rehearsing crisis management, and balancing centuries of tradition with the harsh reality of modern chaos.
Use her mom as a way to claim racism, even though
Meghan's wedding didn't just make headlines. It became a case study in survival under the global microscope. The lessons were painfully practical. Staff learned to dig deep, asking tough questions about family complications, public statements, and online behavior before big events. They realized no amount of planning could ever silence the internet completely.
Meghan is largely culturally white. She has married white men. Most of her friends are white. She's culturally white. She doesn't have...
In a hyper-connected world, the narrative can only be guided, not controlled. But there was another revelation too. Doria Ragland's calm, steady presence became the blueprint. One dignified family member could cut through the noise, offset chaos, and keep the focus where it belonged.
He did so. And I always found it really interesting is that everybody was like, Doria, she was so like regal. And Harry and Meghan's wedding.
Her quiet strength became a model for future royal moments. And then, the image no one can forget. Doria, sitting alone at St. George's Chapel. At first glance, it looked lonely. But look closer. It was a symbol of loyalty, resilience, and what real family values truly look like.
And dignified and everything. I don't even think, did she really even shed much of a tear when Meghan got married?
Meghan's wedding proved to the world that even the most dazzling royal fairy tales come with messy, raw realities hiding underneath. Behind the glamour was a storm of family drama, media explosions, cultural clashes, and personal identity crises colliding all at once. And right in the middle of it, Doria Ragland didn't just show up. She carried the emotional weight of the entire family on her shoulders. Calm, strong, and silent, she anchored Meghan's story while chaos swirled like wildfire around her.
Always thought about Meghan is that her father didn't come, and I don't think he was really invited, and I don't think Meghan ever wanted him there because Doria
became more than a mother. She was a symbol of Meghan's roots, her past struggles, and her one unshakable support system. And here's the real shocker. This was only the opening act, because the next chapter of Meghan's story, it's bound to get even messier.